Manchester United's game against Copenhagen on Wednesday, it shouldn't be as big as it is. But we lost against Bayern Munich. We lost against Galatasaray. So it is. It's a bit of a must-win game. Win there, we can go to Galatasaray knowing that if we win in Galatasaray, I know big if, probably not going to happen. But if we win our next 2 games, we qualify with 1 game to spare. What team will Ten Hag play? What changes will he make from the win against Fulham at the weekend? Spoiler alert, I don't think he'll make that many. I'm going to run through the team news. I'm going to run through my predicted 11 and the questions I think that needs to be asked ahead of the game. You can let me know what you think in the comments below and let me know your predictions as well. I'll tell you mine at the end of the video. But let's head towards training now. Marcus Rashford, he's back in training ahead of the game, and so is Victor Lindelof. Of course, both of those players missed the game at the weekend against Fulham. Marcus Rashford, I think it was an injury picked up just before it, and Victor Lindelof was labelled as illness. Now, this is the squad that trained. You can see there's no Kobbie Mainoo there. So it looks like Kobbie Mainoo's probably going to be involved in United's under-19s UEFA Youth League game against Copenhagen instead of this. So we're still going to have to wait. By the looks of it, might be wrong. We'll find out. By the looks of it, it looks like Kobbie Mainoo will not be involved. But United have got enough strength in that midfield still without Kobbie Mainoo. What I'm going to do, of course, is run through the team that we played against Fulham and tell you the changes I think we should be doing. Now, this is coming straight from Erik Ten Hag's mouth here, saying, look, we can hope that for a couple of games, we can play with the same lineup. That would help the routines. And it's something that United haven't had this season at all. Any sort of routines of 11s. It's always been a defender here, a fullback there, centre-back out, a midfielder out. It's been chopping and changing every single game. Have we put out the same starting 11 2 games in a row yet this season? I'm not sure we haven't. We did it so often last season. So I think there will be changes for sure. But if you're looking at the table, as I said, if Man United beat Copenhagen, we go to Galatasaray, depending on the result between Bayern Munich and Galatasaray. You'd expect Bayern to win, but let's find out. But it could be that United, if we win away at Turkey, that we already qualify from the group. Now, what I'm going to do here is run through the team that played against Fulham. Now, this was the first time that we've kept a clean sheet in a while. Was it Burnley away? Was that the last time we kept a clean sheet? Can't remember. Might be wrong in that. But United certainly looked a little bit better. There is so much more that we need to do from that Fulham game, okay? Because we still relied on a 90th minute plus winner from Bruno Fernandes. It was a moment rather than a team performance, which we're still yet to see for so long. One player who still keeps his place for sure is Onana. We're yet to see Bayindi's debut, and I don't know when we will. I'll be totally honest. It's a little bit concerning that we haven't seen him play, given the fact that we're likely to lose Onana for a few games in January when he goes to play in the AFCON. But Onana is one of the only informed players in this team right now. You do not take him out. And certainly in a must-win game, and certainly after what Onana did against Copenhagen at Old Trafford. So Onana definitely keeps his place in that team. Now, do you think that Aaron Wan-Bissaka will start this game? If he's fit enough, I'd love him to. And the fact that Erik Ten Hag said, look, we hope that we can play just a couple of more. Maybe we've got 2 more games for the international break. I think Ten Hag will keep Wan-Bissaka in that starting 11. And it was really good to see him back. It was. He actually made a visible difference immediately. Even when he came on against, was it Copenhagen he came on against? I think it was. Wan-Bissaka, it looks good to have him back. Dalot, he's actually played some of his best performances this season at left back. I think notably against Saka at the Emirates. But he's been shaky. Newcastle was a woeful performance from him. But I think we're going to be sticking to pretty much that back line. And I tell you what, the player who, at a time when Ten Hag has needed individuals really to come through and drag United through this period, Maguire's been one of the most reliable players. Now, I will continue to have my reservations about Harry Maguire when he's playing against a team that presses. And Copenhagen will press. It's quite a steep stadium, the Parken Stadium, and I think it's going to be quite a decent atmosphere as well. And I imagine Copenhagen will be pressing us. So I actually think that Maguire will keep his spot there in the starting 11, but I do have concerns about how he plays when he's going to come under more pressure. And I think the interesting question to ask here is in that defence there, you've obviously got Maguire there as the right centre-back, but who is going to play alongside him here? Is it going to be Lindelof? Maybe. He's back training. Is it going to be Evans? He played against Fulham. Or is it going to be Varane? Now, the Varane one kind of feels a little bit weird and strange at this moment in time. I don't actually know what's going on. But again, judging by Ten Hag and the fact that he said he doesn't want to make too many changes, I think we're going to keep that full back five. I don't think he's going to change it at all. We actually kept a clean sheet. And if Ten Hag told us anything last season, he showed us that he likes to keep teams together, doesn't like to do too much rotation, and given how the season's gone, I think if he can finally put out the same back five in a game, even if not everyone's 100% fit, I think he will. So I reckon Ten Hag's going to keep that defence. Now, in midfield, Eriksen, playing in Denmark, I think Eriksen will start this game. And again, I don't think Ten Hag will change it. And I also look at the alternatives. I'm like, okay, what else could he do in that midfield? You could play McTominay there. You could technically play Hannibal there. Hannibal was a bit of a loose screw against Newcastle. That was a Hannibal I sort of remember from the youth team. The Hannibal that you couldn't really 100% rely on because, he's got a yellow card really early. That was kind of a stupid yellow, and he's still lunging in and tackles. We went from completely pragmatic against City to completely explosive against Newcastle. And we reined it in against Fulham. We were a little bit more organised. I actually think, again, Ten Hag is probably going to keep that same midfield trio of Eriksen, McTominay, and Bruno. And again, if you're looking at players that have come through this period and have done it for Ten Hag, McTominay is one of those who've come up with some big goals against Brentford, of course, and away at Sheffield United he scored as well. I think it's going to be that same midfield trio of Eriksen, McTominay, and Bruno. And if I'm looking at a discernible difference that's going to be made, you might see McTominay properly dropping into being more of a double pivot. But I think a lot of United's foreplay, I know, relies on Bruno Fernandes. Him coming through with the moments. Now, there's one thing that has really quite frustrated me, not really about Bruno's game, but kind of about Manchester United overall in these last probably 3 or so games, right? That picture sums it up. That's what I think about the service that Rasmus Højlund has had in these last few games. Højlund's going back to Copenhagen. He is going to be G'd up for this game. Wants to have an impact. Wants to get that. You know when Ronaldo scored a hat-trick, R9 original, scored a hat-trick against United for Real Madrid at Old Trafford, and he got a little round of applause when he got subbed off. I think that's what Højlund will be wanting. He'll love to score a hat-trick there at Copenhagen and just say goodbye to the fans who were his fans once upon a time. But you got to give him service. Get balls into the box. My word, have we been starving Højlund. We have not been getting any sort of passes through the middle like that for Højlund to sort of run onto. We haven't been getting into any wide positions here or here for Højlund to run into for a cross. We have not given him like anything, any sort of service whatsoever. And lo and behold, he's ineffective as a consequence. We need to start using him more. And in this game in particular, because he's going to be so G'd up for it, please just get some service into him. And, of course, when it comes to service, it all depends on who you've got either side. Now, I think that Erik Ten Hag will actually not risk Rashford from the start in this game. Rashford is back in training. We've already got confirmation of that. He was back with the lads and he did train ahead of the kickoff. So maybe he'll be completely fit. And if he is completely fit, I think he'll put him in. But if he's not, I think he'll not risk him, and this is now definitely the game where Antony should be dropped. Pellistri, I'm still reserved as to whether Pellistri has the ability and physical capabilities of impacting games from the start the same way he can from the bench. And I've still got some of those reservations about Garnacho, just because of their age, as it stands. Pellistri had a real impact when he came off the bench against Fulham, and he definitely goes in this team, for me, ahead of Antony. Antony drops to the bench and Pellistri comes on. They're little bromance, those two lads. Well, I love it. I want to see that as my starting 11. That is the only change I think I'm going to do from the team that faced Fulham at the weekend. I'm going to bring Pellistri in for Antony, and the rest is the same. And I would love it to be the exact same result. Man United, last minute winner, 1-0, clean sheet, 3 points, lovely. I would take that all day long. What I would love to see even more is maybe a little bit of an element of control. I don't particularly think this is going to be the game for that. Copenhagen, they showed that they are a decent enough team. United was so bad against Copenhagen at Old Trafford. It can't be as bad as that. But I think those words from Ten Hag about, building routines again, building patterns, it will help performances. And because of that, he's not going to change much from Fulham. And I hope that the result is the same. Well, not my prediction. My prediction for this game. Sorry, I'm going to go out on a whim. I'm going to back United to win 2-0. I'm going to back us for 2-0. I'm going to hope that we're going to build on that Fulham performance. And there were elements of it. It was a more simplified press from United. Bruno ended up being kind of up top a little bit more with Højlund. So if we kind of repeat that, then you're probably more likely to see a bit of a shape like this. Kind of like that. I mean, I know that looks a bit ugly. But it kind of operated a little bit like that. United on the front press there. You have Bruno and Højlund. They were marking the two central midfielders there. Garnacho, well, it was Garnacho. Garnacho and Antony were marking the wingers. This is, I don't know. We'll see how the pressing shape looked a little bit more simple against Fulham, and it worked. And I think Ten Hag will do the same, and I don't think there'll be many changes. I'm backing there to only be one change. Pellistri coming in for Antony. I'm backing United to win 2-0. You can let me know what you think in the comments below, as you always do. I'll be here with a match reaction after the game on Wednesday. Take it easy. Make sure you subscribe if you're new.